What's good, YouTube land? Let's take off to the sky with Airazor. And you know what that means. Play the theme song! Awkwardly wait here for the theme song. There we go. So, yes, the next Maximal getting a redo in Kingdom is Airazor. And here is her box. Got a picture of her falcon on the front, which is falcon awesome. Hey! Her robot mode right there. Obviously everything we come to expect. Her name right there. That image right there. The Maximal symbol right up there. And pictures of the toy right here. And another case where her weapons accessories are stored in the back. So again, mention this all the time, don't throw these out before you check for accessories. And we have another card of Optimus Prime. But if the one that we saw came with Huffer can show us a different image for Dinobot, maybe we can get a different one for Optimus Prime. Let's find out. It's actually yes. Just him not dead. Cool. Him not dead. That's what we like to see. An Optimus Prime that's not dead. So, you know, I did realize I forgot to talk about the Kingdom Wave 3 reveals in the Hover video. So I will have to remind myself at the end of this video, because I want to talk about Airazor. Here she is in her return to glory. And she is very nice, and I like her quite a bit. First off, I'm going to get a comparison out of the way. Here she is with her original Beast Wars Basics figure. I'm finally able to put this one on my shelf and put this one away, because this one can barely stand up in beast mode. But there's quite a bit of difference. Hold on, let me put the wings in a better position for comparison. While this one has the gimmicks, like the wing stuff, I've done a review on it. Like, I'm happy because this one is much more show accurate. So, well, before we actually talk about the toy itself, I do want to talk about the character of Airazor, because she is quite interesting. So I bring up she because it is kind of an important talking point about Airazor, because Hasbro, or at least the people behind Beast Wars, decided to make her a girl. Why that's important is because the people in Japan, when they got the scripts to adapt it into Japanese, they made Airazor a guy. They left everything the same. The story, details, everything, except they changed Airazor to be voiced by a guy. Which means, I may be wrong about this, but it means that in Japan, Airazor and Tigatron were the first homosexual robot couple. Because I think the only thing I can think of that's close to it in G1 is when Trax, I think, falls in love with a human male. I forget his name, Ricardo something vaguely Latin sounding name. So like, but yeah, that makes, and I'm all for that. Like, it works both ways because I'm happy that there's multiple female characters in the Transformer show G1, but also the idea of them. I was reading this on the TF Wiki that they in Japan they had to explain it to little kids because like why are the because like Tigatron and Airazor don't start out in a relationship right away. They start out more as kindred spirits who eventually fall for each other. So like as TF Wiki says, they had like kids in Japan had to explain like why are those two guys loving each other? And it's like they had to explain. Well, sometimes you just grow feelings for people, which is honestly the best way you could explain that without outright saying what homosexuality is. Well, I mean it is that, but you know what I mean. So also I have to, I guess, provide somewhat heavy spoilers because Airazor and Tigatron, their relationship unfortunately did not go quite as well as Silverbolt and Black Arachnia. Not for like relationship reasons, because well, this is gonna be quite a big quite spoilers if you haven't watched Beast Wars, but basically Silverbolt and not so. Oh my god, in my head I keep confusing Silverbolt somehow. Tigatron and Airazor end up dying together. They basically like they come across an alien ship that was disguised, and they both die, and they say they'll live on together forever. And then their sparks, are laid not to rest, but they end up staying in stasis until they're forced into a new body called Tiger Hawk, which plays a role in season 3 until they get killed again. What the hell, Hasbro? You freaking kill off your female character twice. She gets into a fight with. They get into a fight with Megatron, who at that point had revived the Ark, and yet just kills them. Just fucking kills them. Not only do you have to ruin their relationship once, but you have to freaking kill them twice. That's just not fair. But we are here to talk about this toy. And I don't think it's my Beast Wars bias that says I like her a lot. She's a very good toy. First off, she can pose like this. This is in my opinion, one of the pinnacles of a bird type alt mode, is if it can pose resting comfortably. And this thing does pull it off very well. Like, but I guess you guys want to see her at full wingspan, which is freaking impressive. Like, that is a very nice wingspan. Unfortunately, she does have her robot bits crammed all the way up there. But honestly, I don't mind it as much. It's very tight, and obviously that's the back of her head, but like it doesn't bother me because really, what else do you expect from this kind of design? Like, there's nowhere else for that to go. Her robot mode legs become the beast legs. The only thing that's really beast mode were her chicken feet, her 3-toed feet there, cast in solid orange, which is honestly a bit better than this one. Admittedly, I don't have this toy isn't complete. I'm missing her gun and her shoulder pads, but still, I would rather take a solid toy over a floppy kind of. It's not even floppy. It's just this knee ball joint, but like it's hard to see. But even if I have her like on a flat surface, straight like this forward, she will always topple over. I have to put her at like this kind of angle just to make her stand up straight. So I'm I'm quite happy to have a new one that can actually stand up properly. And no matter what you do, you can freaking remove one of her legs. Try to. Well, you know what I mean. Like, you can balance her on one leg. Like, no matter where you move this leg, it's always going to have one part of it touching the ground. So, yeah, she is, as long as she has a flat footing, she is very stable. Will stand in all matter of poses. Speaking of posing, her bird head is on a swivel and a hinge, which is a very nice piece of posability to have. So many times bird modes don't get that kind of treatment. Like, she can look so dynamic with that bird head. Her wings, obviously, are on a hinge, a double hinge, and a double hinge. She has so many wing joints. Like, it can move all over the place, and it can swing out. And if you want, you don't even have to have this piece. It can pop off. If you want her to be weird and say you plucked off her wings, you weirdo. I mean, hey, that's. She also has a lot of molded in detail to represent her wings very nicely, even on her back and her tail fin. The tail fin does have a small amount of movement it can do. It can go up that far, and it's a bit frustrating to get it down right there because it's just a clearance issue. Like the tab, you can see right here, it just sits in front of it, so you have to like force it down with quite a bit of weight. And besides that, she's got ball joints on her ankles, and the rest of her posability, I would rather this joint, you could say. She has a little digitigrade knee joint, but the rest of her posability is predominantly in her robot mode. So accessory-wise, she has two of these, which in her bird mode peg into her thighs, and no need to look up a bird's ass. She also has a Tamashi stand port right there, and yeah, it's a really well done bird mode in my opinion. I love putting it in this pose because it looks so good. Although you could have the wing there just to not break the sculpt, but yeah. I guess you could try and fit, if there's weapons with those kind of tabs, you could try and fit weapons on like that. But besides that, no, the gimmick is it's just a solid bird mode. Nothing's floppy. Nothing like the only thing that could happen is the most likely the head start to transform. But oh yeah, her beak can open a tiny bit, like about that much. It is kind of a pain in the ass to get it open once you've closed it because there's really no room to get your nail in there. Like you got to kind of get a tool in there, but still very nice. I appreciate this bird mode quite a bit. So we will go into transformation, and in that I'm going to show you one mode that I like to do. So we'll leave the wings about here. We'll leave fold the wings like it's about there. We'll fold them one step further for transformation, but for now, this mode, we're just gonna remove the guns, and we're just gonna basically straighten the legs. So hinge them down, straighten and straighten, straighten and straighten, and rotate the head. And here we basically have what I like to call Birdman. We basically have Michael Keaton as Birdman right here. It's a robot with a bird head. Or do you prefer Harvey Birdman? Now I don't know if this is obviously the transformation easily lends itself to this, but you got to think this is some kind of inside joke. Basically, you can leave it here and have a super long gangly robot. I also didn't have any other size comparisons because I don't have a Tigatron. I kept wanting to do Silverbolt and then kept having to remind myself, no, Silverbolt's connected to Black Arachnia. But yeah. This is just very amusing to me. So, but we do have to move on. So you can pop the tail feathers, rotate the waist, and then rotate each of the thighs, and rotate the feet. So you have something resembling robot feet pointing out the front. You want to unpeg her hands. I didn't get any instructions for the original Beast Wars Silverbolt, so I have no idea if I actually, like, I recently, just by this thing, figured out you could actually put the hands back there. Like, I didn't even have them. I think that's obvious in the video that I just had them sticking out the back. I had no idea what to do with them because I didn't have instructions, but yeah. You have holes right there with little grooves to plug in the hands, and then straighten the arms, make sure the shoulder pads up, make sure both shoulder pads are up, and then unpeg basically the back panel, and you're going to want to flip, basically replace the head, the bird head and the robot head. And you also, now you want to do a double hinge accordion fold, fold the torso basically down and back, so it tabs in everywhere. It's nice and securely, everything's good. And then you want to plug the wings into the backpack. Plug into those two bottom pegs. They're basically pegs formed on those parts of the wings. So fold them in, and then fold them forward. So they're kind of resting right there. Back, down, forward. And for the final touch, we will plug in her missiles or guns. I think she used them as guns. And there you have Airazor in her robot mode, which is also very good and very show accurate. This is the first toy in Airazor's history to actually depict her original robot and falcon mode as show accurate as possible since the toy that I have right here. Because every other toy of her, there's been a Transmetal Airazor, and there were Airazor toys depicting what she would have looked like with a vehicle alt mode, kind of like before she was born, because she was a one of the protoforms on the Autobot, on the Maximal ship that when they crashed, that got kind of stuck up in space and then eventually scanned a bird and became Airazor. So yeah, they've given toys like repaints of boats and things. Like I think it's a boat transformer. Actually, I completely can check that. I have to remind myself. If Transformers Wiki, if TF Wiki will load. Transmetal. Well, okay, there was a timeline. No, there were just airplanes, actually. I'm thinking of a different thing, but yeah, they repainted Airjon Slug Slinger into a pre-Airazor form, and they also did Generation Slipstream as Airazor. So, a little bit of neat thing. And her and Tigatron basically share similar ideals, which is why they kind of fell for each other. They were both kind of soldiers who prefer to they prefer to live in the environment of primordial Earth and kind of grew an affection for the planet and the wildlife. But I believe Airazor was also a recon soldier. Like she was supposed because he was one of the only ones with flight like flight capabilities. And also, I just wanted to I'm going to transform this. And I also want to say, if you're not reading the Beast Wars comics, you really should be. I'll give a plug to the. But this transformation borrows very heavily from this toy. Now it's given some new bells to move some things around to make each mode proportional, but it feels very much like it's based off this transformation. So let's give you a not fair at all comparison. Look how freaking generic this head sculpt is. It's almost there, but this one's so much better in my opinion. And also, I'm going to mention this. Read the Beast Wars comic. They put out a new comic. This is the issue number 3, and they're introduced. It's not just a straight retelling of the Beast Wars. It's done by IDW. It's the only Transformers comic I actually read, celebrating the 25th anniversary. And I love this this toy style because I actually have that Tarantulas toy. Like I love the toy centric covers. I have the one with Rhinox and Scorpionator, and I didn't get one for issue 1. But yeah, they've also introduced a new character in the Beast Wars comics, at least so far, called, I believe it's Nyx. Basically, she's a bat. And she's also provide very similar job duties to Airazor. She's a scout, lookout kind of. She was also a pilot. But I'm not going to provide comics on spoilers on the comics because I haven't actually read issue 3 yet, but I feel like I hope she gets a toy. That would be a nice thing to do, is because we've seen Wave 3 so far. I guess I'll provide my thoughts on Wave 3 now. I'm heavily looking forward to the Rhinox they showed, the Scorponok they showed, because yes, please, that figure desperately needs it. Like I definitely need to fix my. Can we call Beast Wars like B1? Because I know I seal off both Jobby the Honk and Thew. But can we call it like B1? Because there are so many different seasons of Beast Wars. Like if we want to go into it, we had Beast Wars 3 seasons. And then in Japan, there was Beast Wars 2nd, Beast Wars Neo. Even before the Transmetals. Like Beast Machines. Like, can we just call it B1? Can we agree to that? But I definitely want heavily Kingdom, Scorponok, and Rhinox. The tracks they revealed looks really good. Freaking Core Class Soundwave. A green repaint of this thing, which looks snot-nosed and horrible, and I'm probably going to get it because it's also a Maximal, and it's just freaking hilarious. Galvatron is a yes. The Ark, the freaking Ark, is going to become a robot, and it's going to be huge, and it's going to come with Teletran 1, a freaking computer that also turned into a robot. So looking forward to that. It makes me think, what are they going to do for Wave 4? Because we need more new Predacons. Because a repaint of a figure that I haven't talked about, but I will talk about soon is, I mean, I'm probably going to get them. But, I know, who else do we, Silverbolt, Depth Charge. I think those are the only, Silverbolt and Depth Charge are the only 2 other Maximals I can think of off the top of my head. I wouldn't mind a Dinobot with with a maximal symbol. I don't expect them to do it. Freaking, they also announced Select's T-Rex. That's T-W-R-E-C-K-S as a red repaint of Megatron, which looks really cool and just okay. Predacons, just for the main cast, Tarantulas and Waspinator, and Inferno. Screw the G1 Inferno. I want freaking Beast Inferno. And I'm trying to think. The pterodactyl, freaking, what was his name? Terrorsaur. Yes. How could I forget his name? Because his iconic birds like screech. Oh, and they're doing a skeletal of one of the fossilizers versions of a pteranodon, and its name is Wing Fingers. Fucking Wing Fingers. It looks so derpy, but it's actually going to combine with the other two in a proper combiner, so I most likely going to get that. Like the core class Soundwave, I might have mentioned it. It was in my head. Definitely going to get the core class Soundwave because it's Soundwave. I guess I could have waited till the end of the video, but let's talk about her robot mode. That also looks very good. Just look at that head sculpt. Freaking so accurate. Even down to the silver paint. It brings so much I wish she had a different expression? Kinda. But her calm, closed mouth does kind of work. Like that purple face gives honestly so much more personality than you really expect. Like it's a real highlight. There's also a unfortunate paint scratch there, but I kind of think that's like her giving a one tier, like a robo tier at like all the destruction that going on the planet and like all the battles between the Maximals and the Predacons. Like, it gives it honestly a little bit more character if you make up X reason why it's there. But overall, the only real thing that's different is her pelvis is flipped over and her bird head has become her chest, which is not as big of a chest plate as when you look at the animation model, but it's still close enough that I'm perfectly fine with it. And her guns, which do actually kind of look a bit like spaceships, almost very similar to the Ark, have migrated to her robot mode forearms. But overall, this is also a very solid robot mode. I don't even need to talk about how good the plastic is anymore, because I feel like I'd just be going on and on needlessly. Like, the plastic is really strong. Nothing feels fragile. Articulation-wise, head is on a ball joint. Very nice, big range, unlike Huffer. She can go look all the way up and look into her chest a tiny bit. Swivel. It's got that much side to side. Very nice ball joint. There's a cut. You can go look all the way up, even if you want to move her back panel out of the way. She can, this is obviously to necessitate transformation, but she can even pull off a flying pose in her robot mode. Like, proper looking straight forward. Here, let's have her shooting her guns. Or what are they actually called? Oh, that doesn't actually talk about her accessories. They're just accessories, arm weapons. That's all TF Wiki has. Alright, but that is such I'm sure she's done this pose before. It looks so good. Alright, but we'll get her back into a standing pose. If I can. Oh, there we go. Head felt like it was stuck a tiny bit. Shoulders are on a pin universal joint. Just a big pin hinge. Go all the way forward, up to about that far before the backpack gets in the way. Even at that point, you can. Well, you can't really fold it down, but still, that's way more arm range than you need. All the way that far backwards, all the way out. The shoulder pad likes to stay up there, which I appreciate. You do get a bicep swivel, slightly beyond 90-degree elbow bend, and this is part and parcel transformation, but you can use this as a joint if you want. You can break her wrist if you want to do that. Can you also break... shit. You can't bend it downwards. So unfortunately, she can't do awesome swordsman poses, but she doesn't need to do awesome swordsman poses. She's awesome without the swordsman poses. One unfortunate minor nitpick I have is the fact that the bird head, it does have a port to peg in the robot mode. I don't know how well I can show this off. But yes, there's a tab right there above the waist joint that's supposed to tab in to a port under her beak, but it doesn't. Honestly, it doesn't feel like it stays tabbed in very well. Like it sits there, but like the bird head comes unpegged very easily, which I like is a very small minor nitpick because it doesn't feel like it's going to shake itself loose. It's just if you put a small amount of force on it, it will like not stay in its home. So it's not really a big deal. It's just I'm reaching for things to critique because I'm having a hard time saying anything other than I love this thing. It's perfect. So I'm kind of struggling. The pelvis is a V. It looks very feminine, and we're not going to talk about it at all. Just it's skirt armor, but it can fold up to allow for full forward motion. And you can unpeg the tail fin to allow for backwards motion that far. She's got come on, where is it? Beautiful spread. Like impressive spread. Like that's part of the transformation, mind you, to get into her legs to collapse into bird mode. But like look at that. Like she can even go farther. Hold on. Let's get her arms out of the way. Like she can go that far. That is insane. And I'm at this point struggling to come up with bird jokes. So we're just going to move on to her swivel here at the knee. Because I guess they didn't want to break up this very nice sculpt and orange. So it's all the way at the knee. You've got a very deep knee bend. Again, mostly for transformation. It is kind of hollow in the back, but not enough that it actually bothers me. And you do get an shin joint, which if you want, this is really, but you can, it's kind of dumb, but you can actually give her a full Robotech chicken mech, full digital grade look, and she can actually stand up straight with it. Like she can actually, how her feet are so freaking sprayed out and huge that she can properly stand up like that. So you have a variety of poses. And you also have a ball joint at the ankle. And every ball joint is a swivel. So if you want to give her bird feet in this mode, you can do that. She also has 5mm ports, strangely, on the backs of her ankles, which aren't the ones for her weapons, because her weapons plug into her thighs right there. So I guess if you want to put a weapon at her ankle, you can also put them in her hands. But overall, I love this figure. She's freaking so good. For deluxe class bird former, this is seriously impressive. And I don't think it's just my bias towards Beast Wars talking. I generally think she is that good that she deserves. She's almost the deluxe of the line. If a certain Styracosaurus hadn't blown my mind, she would easily be number one, at least for the deluxe class. But for now, I'm not going to rip off Jobby too much. I'd give her the 3. Oh, God, why? But just say, if you're a Beast Wars fan, fuck it, just buy her. Why do you even need this video to tell you to buy her? You should already know. I don't know how I could convince you more to buy her. Just buy her. And hopefully one day we'll get a better RC toy. Because fuck the Masterpiece, fuck the Kingdom 1. If this video, here, I'll give you guys a challenge. If this video gets 5 likes, I will buy and review Kingdom RC. And I will not be kind to it. Maybe I'll be partial and fair and give it a proper review, but 5 likes, and if you want, I will tear that RC a new asshole. But tell me in the comments if you want me to do that, and also 5 likes. So thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Go pick up an Airazor. Seriously. Pick up an Airazor. Till next time. Also keep it weird. Bye.